Good morning to all of you, and welcome to Namaste Lake Chapala and the experience of Namaste, which is to say, the experience of seeing only love. Because love is all there is, and that's the only lesson there really is for us to learn. Not even to learn, but to simply awaken. Because you can't learn the only thing that's true. You may choose, at least for a moment, to deny the only thing that's true, which is to say God is love and therefore so am I, and therefore love is all that exists. I can choose to deny it for a moment, but I can't choose to make it true. So all I am here to do is to realize, to awaken what is and will always be true, what is without compromise, what is beyond this world together, and yet what links us to the truth and the heaven where we are now. So in a nutshell, that is our whole session. Only love is real, and God alone is love, and so am I. And if we can simply enter into the experience of that simple reality and truth, everything else happens on its own. But I want to begin today with 6 words that I think sum up everything that we're going to share today, everything that is expressed in really every tradition, but especially the Sufi tradition. And these 6 words are the beginning of a poem by Rumi, the great Sufi poet and mystic. So here are the 6 words. Don't look for water. Be thirsty. Don't look to have your thirst satisfied. Just feel that longing and that thirst. To complete that, let me read the whole poem because I think it really helps us to understand and to experience. Once again, don't look for water. Be thirsty. Your thirst attracts God because your longing for God is God's longing for you. Your thirst attracts God because your longing for God is God's longing for you. How could it be any other way if there's only one? It is the most direct way to God because it is the magnetic attraction of the soul for the source. The magnetic attraction of the soul for the source. Like a moth drawn to the flames, we are drawn back to God by the fire of longing. The brighter the fire, the stronger the longing. And this longing purifies you. It burns you until there's nothing left within your heart but God. It burns you until there's nothing left within your heart but God. Allah. Only God. And so Rumi so beautifully describes the supreme importance of that yearning and longing for that which is yearning and longing for me. God alone. I love that beginning. Don't look for water, stay thirsty. This is a very Sufi idea. Don't try and quench that longing because it cannot be quenched. Don't try and end the search because it is an endless search for love, the love that you are and will always be. As long as we find ourselves here in this state of separation, we are stretching toward the divine, longing for that fire. And that fire burns away everything that we don't need. So be burned. Love alone. If in our minds there is any concept of an alternative, then we need to be burned. We need to surrender to that fire even more deeply, to yearn and long only for that state, only for that burning. So stay thirsty. There's another beautiful poem that I found right before session that I wanted to share with you. And this comes from Rabia Basri, another great Sufi saint, the first woman Sufi saint who died in the year 801. And she was such a deep, deep lover of the beloved. Her whole life was that yearning, that stretching toward God. So, and what we're going to hear here is that it's not to gain anything or to avoid anything. We're not doing this so that we can gain heaven or avoid hell, as she says. We're doing it for itself alone. We're giving all of our love simply for that, for the sake of that. So this is what Rabia said. She's speaking to God. If I adore you out of fear of hell, burn me in hell. If I adore you out of desire for paradise, lock me out of paradise. But if I adore you for yourself alone, do not deny me your eternal beauty. If I deny you for yourself alone, do not deny me your eternal beauty. I think that is so beautifully expressed. There is no reason for this other than it's all that is. It's the only thing that is, the only thing that exists. That's the reason. Not because we're going to get something. There's no retribution. There's no quid pro quo. We love God because that is all that exists. In this state, in this experience, is the only thing we seek, only thing that is true. God alone is love. Love alone is real. And this is the path of the Sufi, but it's the path of Christ. It's the path of any great mystical tradition, regardless of the religion, regardless of the spiritual path, regardless of the form. Just stretching toward and longing for the divine in a feminine sense. In other words, in the Sufi tradition, the soul is always feminine, whereas God is masculine. Now, we know that God is obviously not masculine or feminine, so this is just a way of understanding and relating to that longing. In fact, there's a great story from Rabia where she, in her ecstatic state, went to a temple and wanted to enter in to pray. And she was met at the door of the temple and told, you can't come in because women aren't allowed. This is only for men. And Rabia said to this guard in her ecstatic state, are not all souls feminine before God? Are not all souls there to receive and be penetrated by God, to have the armor that we have wrapped around ourselves to hide? Aren't we all here to be penetrated by that? So in that sense, the soul is always feminine. And God is a masculine, penetrating force, penetrating all error, all illusion, bringing us into that state of holy oneness. So this is the only thing we're really here for, is to keep feeding that longing, to keep putting wood on that fire, whatever it takes, to keep it burning hot. This is why we come together 6 days a week here at Namaste and invite you to join us, because it's like hearing one another. We're putting a log on that fire and it burns brighter and hotter. And if ever it begins to dim, we put another log on, because the only reason we're here is to keep that fire burning bright. So what we're going to do now is we're going to share a chant that we practiced a little bit before, that's going to help us to come into and enter into that state of divine longing. And I shared this in the email. Let me read the words one more time, and I'll share the movement as well. The words are, there is no choice I need to make, il Allah, or only God, only God. And then, through love alone I am awake, il Allah. And then the chorus, which is Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, God is love, lover and beloved. Do you see that? All is love, God is love, combined, lover and beloved in one. In other words, that's all there is, love itself. So, Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil Allah, Ya Jamil, or God is beauty, God is beauty. And so the movements are, let me see if I remember. Yes. There is no choice I need to make. And then we bring our hands to our chest. Il Allah, Il Allah. Through love alone, I am awake. Il Allah, Il Allah. And then we kind of do the opposite movement for the Ishq Allah. We come out this way and in. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, to a praying position. Ya Jamil Allah, Ya Jamil. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Ya Jamil. And then the second verse, the words are, I am awake within your fire, Il Allah, Il Allah. And for you alone are my one desire, Il Allah, Il Allah. So once again, I am awake within your fire, Il Allah, Il Allah. For you alone are my one desire, Il Allah, Il Allah. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah. Ya Jamil, Ya Jamil. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah. Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. So we're going to sing this back and forth quite a number of times, because the beauty of chanting is that if we stay with it, it takes us deeper and deeper and deeper every rotation. So my encouragement is to feel that longing that Rumi and Rabia described. Feel the fire, feel the stretching toward the divine. Let these words in this chant take you deeper and deeper into that. Here we go. There is no choice I need to make. Il Allah, Il Allah. Go ahead and do the hand movements now. There is no choice I need to make. Il Allah, Il Allah. Through love alone I am awake. Through love alone I am awake. Il Allah, Il Allah. We'll do both of those again. There is no choice I need to make. Il Allah, Il Allah. Through love alone I am awake. Il Allah, Il Allah. And now to Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. We'll do that whole thing again. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. Okay, back to the beginning now. There is no choice I need to make. There is no choice I need to make. Il Allah, Il Allah. Through love alone I am awake. Through love alone I am awake. Il Allah, Il Allah. Once again. There is no choice I need to make. Let it take you deeper. Il Allah, only God. Il Allah. love alone I am awake. Il Allah, Il Allah. Now back to Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. Again, God is love, lover, and beloved. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. Now we're going to go to I am awake within your fire. I am awake within your fire, Il Allah, Il Allah, Il Allah. For you alone are my one desire. For you alone are my one desire. Il Allah, only God. Il Allah. I am awake within your fire. I am awake within your fire. Il Allah, Il Allah. For you alone, my one desire. For you alone are my one desire. Il Allah, Il Allah. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. Really feel God is love, lover and beloved. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. Back to the beginning. We're going to go higher now. There is no choice I need to make. Il Allah, Il Allah. Through love alone I am awake. Through love alone I am awake. Il Allah, Il Allah. Even deeper now. Feel the fire. There is no choice I need to make. Il Allah, Il Allah. Through love alone I am awake. Il Allah, Il Allah. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. Again. Ishq Allah, Mabud Allah, Ya Jamil, Allah, Ya Jamil. within your fire. Il Allah, Il Allah. Feel that flame. For you alone are my one desire. Il Allah, Il Allah. One more time. I am awake within your fire. Il Allah, Il Allah. For you alone are my one desire. Il Allah, Il Allah. Only God, only God, only God, only God. Sing that with me. Only God, only God, only God, only God. Il Allah, Il Allah, Il Allah, Il Allah. Feel that flame getting brighter now. Il Allah, 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 Il Allah. One more time. Il Allah, Il Allah, Il Allah, Il Allah. God alone. Take a deep breath. We're just going to hold still for a minute or two and just feel the heat from that divine fire. Feel the light penetrating. Penetrating all of those defenses we've built around ourselves. Il Allah, Il Allah. Only God. Only love. Only love. So all we need to remember is that love alone is real. That's it. Anything that appears contrary is not. It may seem, we may believe, but our consistent choice to see only what is true, our decision to perceive only the beloved, is all we need to break free from the gravitational pull of the ego. It's all we need. We have to make that choice. You've consistently made the choice for shadows, and now we consistently make the choice for light, for love alone, Il Allah. And we join together, and it's the only reason for us to come together. Like building a bonfire and getting all of your friends together to sit next to it or dance around it. It's a celebration. We celebration that only love is real. We celebrate that. And in doing so, we continue to throw logs onto that fire, and it gets hotter and brighter until it consumes everything that seems for a moment to be contrary. Hold on, someone got unmuted. There we go. I hope you could feel that. I'm sure you did. And now we're going to go ahead and go to Vicky. I think I saw Vicky out there. There she is. Hi, Vic. Good morning. Would love to have you share whatever is in your heart around this
Yeah.
fire.
Thank you, Jimmy. That was great. That was great, and thank you for the silence. And very simply, very practically, this was the remedy offered in the first poem that you gave. What was it? Don't thirst. Don't look for the water. Stay thirsty,
Exactly.
because that's the remedy. We're always so problem directed, solving things, and but if we don't solve anything, and we feel the tension of longing, and this goes for everything, then we don't divide ourselves against ourselves. We don't split ourselves more. We let the false energies of desire of whatever they've been, even the desire for God isn't true if it's what we already are. But
Exactly.
if we don't handle it and we just let it be, it has to dissolve. And what's under it is the fire of that holy love. That's one. So that poem was great. Don't what is it? Don't get thirsty. Don't drink. Don't drink the water.
Don't look for water. Stay
Don't
thirsty.
look for water for everything. Stay thirsty. And the because resist not evil. Any seeking, even seeking for God, puts us outside of where God is. Every time we just open and surrender and be, stay thirsty, stay longing, stay. Everything that's false dissolves. And then Ravia's poem was beautiful because we can only go to God for God, not for answers, not for solutions, not for the kingdom, for the heavens, for the joys. Because then we're again, see how subtle duality is. This is calling us to this holy oneness. Seek only for what already is within, and what is will arise, will awaken in us when we're not looking for it anywhere else outside. Very practical, great remedies today in very simple, beautiful little poems. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vicky. The only thing that I'll add to that is it's absolutely true that even the longing for God puts us outside of God. But here's the thing, we have chosen to believe that we are outside of God. It's that simple. That's a
Yes.
choice. It's not true, of course, but it's a choice that we've chosen, something we've chosen for whatever strange, guilty, bizarre reason. Doesn't even matter at this point. We've chosen to perceive that it's possible to be outside of everything, which is another way of saying God. And so that longing, that fire, is really just breaking down those defenses so that we can see that such a thing is impossible, that we've never been outside of God. So it's not really ultimately God that we're longing for, because that's a concept. Most of us have ideas about what God is that are not true either, because the only thing, well, we can't even conceive of it really. It's impossible, but we can stretch toward it. We can long to just be burned alive in that fire, literally burned alive, not burned to death. That sacred fire burns away everything that chooses death as a remedy, because that's what the ego does. It chooses death as a remedy to life. And there can't be anything more ridiculous than that. But if we just keep stretching toward God, then that ridiculous idea that we could be separate from God dissolves on its own, as you so beautifully said. So just stay next to the fire. Why would you wander into the forest where it's cold? Stay next to the fire. Go ahead, Vicky.
The other thing is, not everyone's inclined to mystical experiences or revelations of light and all that. But what I found simply is the experience of God comes through when I don't resist whatever those feelings are, longings of whatever, as a buoyancy, as a natural joyfulness. And that in itself is an experience of our divinity, because there's no joy outside of God's love. And so oftentimes we miss it and we don't realize, oh no, it appeared. It became my experience, because we'll leave a prayer or meditation and we'll see that we're bouncing along the street. That's the natural effect of touching that fire, that center fire that we are. So it always will come through with joy. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And sometimes the tears that
Mhm.
come are tears of joy. Like I have this beautiful chant that I've been doing here in my little enclosure. I literally can walk about 7 steps or 8 steps in one way. And so, by the way, before I forget, I want to thank Akal Dave, because she was the one who inspired that song that from the beautiful chant that she shared a couple of days ago. And it also inspired me. Well, I was already doing this, but I mean, here, this little enclosure is hard to do exercise. So, but yesterday I walked like 5 miles, literally 5 miles, 7 steps that way, 7 steps back, back and forth, chanting this over and over and over, going deeper and deeper and deeper, tears just pouring down my face, but not tears, well, tears of dissolving that perceived separation. That was what was, and that the joy that comes from the realization that such a separation is impossible. So however it shows up, with laughter, with tears, with dancing, with song, follow it. Just dive into that fire. Let it burn you alive. All right, I'm going to go ahead and check in here at Namaste. Hi, everybody. Good to see you outside the wall. Anyone want to share anything? Is Christina there? Does she want to share anything this morning? Good morning. Good to see you. We're going to give her a microphone as well, so everyone there at Namaste can hear her, unless it's not set up already. Okay.
Oh, that's so nice. I don't have to project my
We can hardly hear you, Christina. We're going to need to get you closer to the TV. No, no, don't turn the mic up. It's not the mic. It's just you're too far away from the computer.
Let's see if we can get closer. All right, is that better?
Much better. Thank you.
Great. Ah, a lovely chant that just helps to create the space.
Just turn it, Robbie.
We're
It's
feeling
pointing towards the mic. Turn it.
Yeah, don't face it toward the mic. That's what creates the squeal.
It creates the space between the thoughts. Such a gift. And also, that is the feminine activity, space, spaciousness, receptivity. And as we allow ourselves just to simply rest in the spaciousness, all is dissolved. The fire can burn us alive. The chant this morning really, I could feel not just in this mind, but in the mind and heart of all those surrounding me, the opening that takes place when we consciously make a choice to give our focus and our attention away from the thoughts, away from the mind. So thank you for that beautiful chant this morning, Jimmy. And for all of you here who are joining us in this beautiful feminine spaciousness where the masculine fire of God will burn us alive. Thank you.
Thank you, dear. I love hearing all these roosters in the background. It's like, what does a rooster symbolize for us humans anyway? What is the purpose? Wake up. Rooster, even though it's not true, by the way, I learned that living in Mexico, that I always thought that roosters only crow when dawn, when the light comes. No, they do it all day long. It's a constant thing, as you can hear. And having roosters in your backyard is a very, very normal thing here in Mexico. So we're surrounded by all these symbols of wake up, it's time, the moment has arrived. What are you waiting for? Open your eyes and see how blessed and how holy you are. Just sit within that beautiful radiance, that beautiful light. So the roosters were almost drowning you out. They were so loud. And of course, I'm only a few feet away, so I hear them kind of in stereo. They're coming at me from every direction. Thank you, Christina.